in love with Colin Firth because of Mamma Mia. Don't get me started. I fucking hate that movie. I hate it so
Aren't you supposed to stand up for the sisterhood?
I hate that movie.
So there we go, live on the Petty and Ill-Informed podcast. Nikki is a radical anti-feminist, everyone.
For hating Mamma Mia.
Yeah, it makes you a radical anti-feminist.
Okay, cool.
That's how that works. Oh
Hey,
no,
there's an Angie here.
there's a Soflo, there's a Gabby, there's an Angie. That's all three of our fans are here. Hey guys.
Hell yeah. What's up, guys?
Soflo, there's Gabby.
Sorry, that's
Tom,
me just loading it
yes.
up on my phone.
I'm aware it's you. It's always you. Kevin will apparently not be joining us this week. I hope he's well. So welcome to the show, everyone. I am your inglorious host, Richard. Joining me from 13 Thurstonfield Road, Tom.
Yeah, once again, that's not my correct address, thankfully. But yes, I'm here, whether you like it or not.
And from Tennessee, Nikki.
Hey, what's up?
Apologies, everyone. Nikki is literally so high right now she can barely touch her own nose with her eyebrow.
It's very true. I cannot touch my nose to my eyebrow.
But then I
Yeah,
don't
see.
think anyone can.
Yeah,
She's
well,
so high right now. It's not even funny.
I'm very comfortable.
Okay, so a bunch of weird noises. How was everybody's week? Let's start there.
It was really... Go on, you first, Nikki, sorry.
Yay! I got my car back. So everybody, I don't know if you know, my car got stolen. There was a whole thing in the news about like a bunch of kids that were under, well, most of them were 13 to 15 and one 17-year-olds stole a bunch of cars and one of them was mine. So I had to go buy another car. And since I'm cheap, I didn't want a car payment. So I found a Humpty and then got it fixed up. And so basically spent $8,000 on a car. And I got it back today. I'm super excited because now I don't have to drive the death trap that is my dad's Ford Explorer.
Yeah,
That was my week.
Okay, cool. I just, why? I never went joyriding when I was a kid, but a couple of my friends did. I never saw the point personally. Like, if I'm going to jail, it's going to be for something big. It's not going to be for nicking cars, let me tell you.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. They could have, I think they were joyriding, but I would much rather think that they were, stealing cars for like a gang so they could like break them down and get parts or whatever. Because if you're a minor, you get a slap on the hand and then you go do your thing. I would much rather like to think that they were going to do it for money than just they wrecked my car for no reason. They got caught very quickly, by the way.
Did you have to go down and identify them?
No, because I didn't see them steal my car. Like literally, I was already at home and where's your car? I was like, what? Your car's not in the driveway. Yeah, it is. It's in the driveway. And I went outside and it was not in the driveway. Someone had stolen it right out of my driveway.
That's a pretty ballsy move right there.
Yeah, and they knew my area enough. They dodged the camera. They went out the back. And there's only like a 2-hour window of being able to do that. So they were probably from my neighborhood.
Oh, didn't they get busted?
They did, but I didn't see them. I never got to see who it was. My insurance is the one that's gonna, take up and do the whole lawsuit, get money thing. I don't have to worry about that. I already got my money.
All right,
Yeah.
Good. Well, that was Nikki's week. How was your week, Tom?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I can't complain. I started last weekend, right after the show. I checked my email and I had 2 massive jobs land on me. In mad panic, I got one of them done. I had to make a 9-page document for work.
Wow, a whole 9 pages. Damn.
Well, it required a lot of concentration. That's not something I'm exactly renowned for now, is it? So there was that. Then I had what do we think? I had a meeting with my immediate head of department and assistant principal, his name is, and my teaching assistants. And quite out of the blue, one of my teaching assistants said some very nice things about my lessons and how the kids really like it, and the stuff I make is, well, to quote my good teaching assistant, she said the stuff I make was amazing, in inverted commas. Which and success to me is not something that happens very much. So this is a very welcome surprise. Well, not maybe it's not a surprise, but it's a massive sigh of relief more than anything to hear somebody who doesn't give out compliments very often. I mean, it would be like the same as you, Richard, saying you can actually just about tolerate my presence. I mean, we're talking high praise here, you know. So that was very, very reassuring, I must say. It's not something I was big-headed about, but it's something that is, just a big exhale and a big phew.
Okay, well, glad you got that all sorted.
Look, it's I dare say things are looking good. Touch wood, touch base. Things hopefully, fingers crossed we're on the right path. Yay!
Yay! All right then. Well, my week was all right. Worked all week, and then last night I got absolutely trashed and played Fall Guys with Crispy and Jax until the wee hours of the morning. It was a very enjoyable evening.
That was pretty funny.
Hmm.
I knew you were drunk as soon as I walked in.
Well, I was singing when you walked in.
Yeah, so. I can always tell when you're drunk because you want everybody to sing whatever with you. Whatever. Lately, it's been Baywatch, but sometimes it's Blink-182, and sometimes it's other 80s songs, and yeah.
I get very musical when I'm drunk. Unfortunately, I cannot
I love
sing.
it. Well, hopefully, when I go to Ireland, we can get drunk together and have a musical. It'll be great and embarrass the other people with us.
Fingers crossed. Oh, Kevin's not here, is he? So we can actually move to the topic. Unless someone else wants to talk about someone else first.
Well, actually, why not? Shall we talk about this Gary Lineker thing? Because this is...
Well, do we have to?
Come, Nikki, do you know anything about this?
No.
Okay, it's a pretty big story in the news right now over here. So let me see if I can concentrate enough to do a quick summary. Hang on, quick sip of beer.
Okay, do I get to time you?
Yes, you do. What have I got? 1 minute?
No, do you want? I will give you 2.
Okay, you tell me when you're ready.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my stopwatch here. RA and go.
Okay, Gary Lineker is basically England's John Madden. He's a really renowned and respected sports commentator with a great history in the sport. Last week he tweeted that he thought the British government's proposed asylum policy was nothing short of barbaric and the kind of thing you would see in 1930s Germany. This was rather controversial because BBC commentators are supposed to be impartial because the British Broadcasting Service is a public service and not a private company kind of thing. So the upshot of it was that he was suspended from presenting Match of the Day while they figure out what to do and kind of launch some maybe not an inquiry, but while they deliberate over what they're going to do because they see him tweeting this as in breach of their impartiality policy and status. But what they didn't quite foresee and what no one foresaw was that loads and loads and loads of other people have refused to participate in BBC sport coverage as in support of Gary. So today's BBC sport coverage has been in absolute chaos. Actually, as it happens, Match of the Day is probably playing right now with no commentators and no proper
seconds.
Yeah, no. It's playing right now with no commentators. So British sport coverage has been absolutely paralysed by this, and they're having to cancel loads of shows, frantically fill the bill with various kinds of crap, just in desperation. And it is a really highly controversial and major messed up state of affairs.
Oh my gosh, Tom, that was fucking great.
I
got in there with 10 seconds left to spare.
I think, comparing the Tory government to Nazi Germany was a bit, out of order. I mean, the Nazis were pretty terrible, but they weren't that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely on the harsh side.
You see what I did there? Mm-hmm. Okay, Nikki got it. Okay.
Well, was there a joke I missed?
Yeah, I said the Nazis were pretty bad and everything, but they weren't that terrible.
Sorry, wasn't concentrating. No, for fuck's sake. So they're not.
Just knee slapping.
Nice spin. Nice inversion. Good. Yeah, sorry, I had to explain it twice for thicko here.
That's good.
I
so
mean,
everybody knows, if you're listening, we don't agree with the Nazi Party. Just saying. We don't endorse Hitler. Racism bad. There you go.
Racism is bad. And if we could stay on the topic of Hitler, also in British news, we had Stanley Johnson, being admitting that he committed domestic violence against his wife, and Fiona in Parliament said, well, it was only a one-off. And, in defense of Hitler, it was only the Holocaust was only a one-off as well.
It was just a one-off. It's fine.
So, is it that bad?
Lord, we should just allow people a mulligan,
Yeah, we should give them a mulligan. Oh, you just punched your wife once.
Yeah, just once. It was just one time. That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine. It was like Sarah Everard.
She should have listened the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was her fault. Look at what she was wearing, yada, yada.
Exactly. She asked for it.
So it was like that Sarah Everard.
Why was she alone with him?
A couple of years ago.
What was she even doing there?
When the police officer, that kidnapped, had sex with her without her consent and then murdered her, said he only meant to kidnap and have sex with her without her consent. So
yeah, I remember that. I remember did we watch that together?
Yeah, we did. It was just, it just feels like, I don't know. Am I taking crazy pills, or are we just living in the Twilight Zone these days?
Yeah, it's kind of like there was one time on the news in Memphis, they were like, the perpetrator had a gun and a knife, and I was like, you said gun, who gives a shit about the knife? But and a knife, he had both. Who cares about the knife? The dude's got a gun. I'm not worried about a knife if you've got a gun. He had a gun and a knife and some mace. Just anything after a gun makes no damn sense to me.
Well,
he was dangerous and armed.
You got to be prepared, for all things. But yeah, and Gabby quite rightly there pointing out the Christopher Garnier case where the poor kid got PTSD after murdering someone. I mean, and the Canadian government paid for his rehabilitation in prison.
Wow.
For murdering someone.
I think that's actually something that does happen to people who have murdered, and I'm not excusing them as being, whatever. I'm not excusing their behavior. But I don't know. It's almost like you're just desserts for doing what you did. Don't you kind of deserve it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you killed someone. Shouldn't you live with that craziness the rest of your life? Like that was your body's consequence to your actions. I don't know.
But to get back on topic, Gary Lineker being suspended over what he wrote on Twitter and the out of dateness of his bosses to suspend him. Like there wasn't gonna be a massive backlash to, in support of one of Walker's Crisp's greatest spokesmen ever. Is and he played sports for a while as well, I'm given to believe. But it was a silly decision to suspend him. Oh, I need more British people.
I mean, my opinion on it, and I'm often such a fence sitter. I don't have an opinion, but this time I do. My opinion is that I think the impartiality rules should definitely apply to current affairs commentators and political commentators and things like that, because if they're doing sort of, say, an interview, then if the person has made loads of loaded comments against them, then there's going to be a real personal edge to it. But if there's a sense of impartiality with the presenter, then you'll get a much better atmosphere, and it just makes sense. But for everybody else, for actors, actresses, show presenters, things like that, like Gary, I think they should. I think it's not an easy decision, but I think the freedom of speech thing does weigh up in favour of that. I think they should have the right to be able to express opinions, provided they put the usual disclaimer in: my views are my own and are not representative of the BBC. And as long as I think that's how I think that's the best fit situation.
Well, we don't technically have freedom of speech in this country.
Apparently not.
I mean, we really don't. It's not written down anywhere.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. We don't. You're right. We don't have. We don't have it enshrined in the Bill of Rights or anything. No.
It's in the Magna Carta, but who reads that crap anymore?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you're someone else reads that crap. Well, to be fair, yeah, we don't. Who does? Because I certainly don't. I wouldn't know anything about it or what's in it, and I don't think most people would.
I only know two things about the Magna Carta: the year it was signed and where it was signed.
Right.
That's it. That's all I know.
Tell us a little bit about the Magna Carta then, because some of us really don't know.
The Magna Carta was our chartered rights as laid down by the king at the time. It was signed in 1066, and it was signed at the bottom. And that's all I know.
Gabby called it bathroom literature.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our Bill of Rights. It was annulled when they introduced common law. Actual common law, not the crap the sovereign citizens go on about. But anyway, yeah, I support Gary Lineker. I think he's got the right to say whatever he wants.
Yeah, so we will see how this pans out. I mean, I think they will have to reinstate him and quickly, and I think they'll have to come up with some sort of new revised code of conduct that says, yeah, pretty much exactly that, as long as you're not a political, but I see that as the best solution. I mean, I'm sure there'll be loads of people arguing against it. And
dude should just walk and go to Sky or something. He'd be minted.
He is meant to have received offers.
Yeah, I bet it. No, Gary Lineker is a known quantity. Even I enjoy watching him, and I hate football. But he's got a very calm, he's easy on the eyes, and he's got a nice, calm disposition, So, yeah, but yeah, he should just walk for the way they've treated him. He should take this as an opportunity and just walk.
We will see. We'll report back next week, won't we?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, well, I must apologise to everybody. I have sadly not been able to visit a McDonald's branch and been able to make a complete and total tit of myself by trying to order because Nikki, don't know if you know about this. Last week I was roped into a challenge, or I offered to.
You weren't roped in. Leave me and Kevin out of this. It was your suggestion, your idea. You wanted to do it, and both me and Kevin both said you weren't going to do it. And here we are with you admitting you didn't do it.
Okay, what were you supposed to do?
I haven't done it yet. Because if Richard was behind me in the drive-through, this is the sort of thing I would do that he would cause him to put his foot down on the accelerator, run me over, and take the 15-year prison sentence, and it would be worth it. I'm in front of him in the drive-through. I'm on my bike, and I go into McDonald's. I go to the microphone thing at McDonald's, and I say, "Okay, can I have?" What are you doing, trousers? I go and buy. She's muted. She's muted.
The mic's a jerk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what I did was, no, I haven't done it yet. That's the whole problem. I was supposed to go to a McDonald's drive-through window and say, "Can I have a McPlant burger with fries and an orange juice? Oh, and can I have a vegan dessert, please?" What? What do you mean you don't have a vegan dessert? Oh, well, can I have a pot of jam and a little spoon, and I'll use that as a mini jelly, and that'll have to be my dessert? What? What do you mean I can't have a pot of jam? It's on the breakfast menu only, and you stopped doing breakfast at 11 a.m. and now it's 5 p.m. Well, that's just not on. I expect you to supply me with something I consider worthy of being a dessert, and if you don't, then I'm going to complain to head office that you're denying me my lifestyle choices and dietary requirements. So there, and I'm going to make that sort of fuss, but I haven't done it yet for two reasons. One, because I haven't really had the opportunity, and two, because what I told this to somebody at work, and they said I need to do it with a bike helmet cam and film it.
Yeah. First of all, I don't know why you're dragging me into this. It's completely your own thing, and it had very little to do with me.
To be fair, that's true.
All that we were talking about was how much I hated cyclists, and at what point I'd be willing to risk prison time to kill one of them.
And I volunteered. I said, "Yep, I got this one." I put my hand right up and stepped in.
And did you see that they play sovereign citizen videos on Facebook? Yeah, they have to these days. YouTube's clamped right down on that. First Amendment auditors and sovereign citizens getting demonetized across the board. So they have to play it on Facebook to get the attention and money they want. So.
Yeah, Facebook, and there's another place that a lot of the people that have been tossed off of Twitch and YouTube. I can't remember the name of it, but everybody's been going there because there's very little, like the old conspiracy theories that were on YouTube like 5-10 years ago that were so fun to watch. They're all over there because they were demonetized forever ago and taken off of the platform. So I got to remember what it's called, though. It's like BitVid or something like that.
There's a load of them. There's a load of YouTube. But, it's like the alternatives to Coca-Cola. They exist, but you'll always pick Coca-Cola given the chance.
Right, but sometimes you're in the mood for Pepsi. Sometimes I just want to watch some crazy people spin some crazy stories about, like, I don't know, whatever satanic ritual supposedly happened at the Oscars this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want that stuff, and you can't get it on YouTube anymore.
I don't know how they're allowed to make any money at all, since they all get arrested, they all get convicted. There are laws that say you're not allowed to profit from your crime. That should have applied to YouTube in the first place.
I agree with that, but
never have been allowed.
Wait, there aren't laws that say you can't profit from your crime.
Yeah, you're not allowed to keep money if you're a drug dealer.
That's very true, but I'm saying that if you have fans and they want to send you money in jail, or you're Charles Manson and you make watercolors and someone wants to buy it for $100,000.
Yeah, but that's not from the crime.
That's no, but I mean, you committed a crime to get your notoriety. So should
but
you
not? Didn't commit a crime. Painting a watercolor isn't committing a crime.
That's very true. That's very true.
He wasn't allowed to keep any of the money from his cult.
I get that, but like the video recording of it is not the crime itself. Them being a sovereign citizen is a crime. Them making the video of it, not a crime. So by your standards, they can still be monetized because the video itself was not the crime. The
video is them committing the crime.
Yes, the video is evidence of them committing the crime.
No, I see your point. No, okay, yeah, I'll accept that.
Thank you.
Gabby, what about the serial killer YouTuber? Which one? I'm sorry to say. There's at least 4 that I know about.
Pedro or something. I think I watched something on that. I think Swoop did one on him not too long ago. I'm trying to remember all the details because I've watched like there's I think like 6. There's so many
and there's
just
ones that aren't serial
mass
killers.
killers. That just go crazy and kill someone.
Yeah, like that Samantha Walhall chick that murdered her husband. She was a YouTuber. She committed the mistake of doing everything on her phone and gave her phone over to police.
I have not read that one. Gabby says that it's Pedro Rodriguez Filho. He does cooking videos. Never heard of him. I'm gonna have to check it out. Gonna Google it.
Alrighty. So moving on to the topic, if we may.
I guess.
The mystery of Flight 19. This is a genuine Bermuda Triangle mystery. And it's backed up. It gets even weirder because not only did 5 Avenger torpedo bombers go missing, the boat they sent to look for them also vanished without a trace. So, right there, rescuers really only have one job. That's to rescue people. If they go and get lost, I'm just going to mute you, Nikki. Sorry. Until you sort out whatever's going on with your mic, because that's driving me crazy. I'll unmute you in a sec. So, Flight 19, 5 Avenger torpedo bombers led by Lieutenant Charles Taylor, disappeared without a trace after launching in 1945 at the end of the war. Let's just check Nikki real quick. Okay, that's good. Okay. It took off from Florida. It was going to do a routine navigation and combat training exercise, and they flew out to the towards the sea, and then just vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. The last known radio contact was they flew over some small islands and mistook it for the Florida Keys. One of them was complaining their compass wasn't working. So they suspect what happened was they got lost. Their compass stopped working. They got lost. They ran out of fuel and they crashed into the water. Nobody knows what happens to the boat that went to look for them, though. That's like complete mystery because it was a Mariner flying boat. It was prepared for air and water, and vanishing without a trace is just weird. But it was over the Bermuda Triangle. There have been several attempts to locate them. They've done all sorts of scans and checks through the sea. They've sailed around. They've sent submarines down looking for them. They actually found several planes, World War II era planes, near Florida, and everyone was excited because they assumed it was Flight 19, but it turned out to be another group of planes that had gone missing, which was pretty funny. But the prevailing theory is that they just got lost and ran out of fuel and crashed into the water. But no trace of them has ever been found. No wreckage washed up. There was only one radio contact, and it was a very confusing message. And pretty cool, pretty interesting, because it's over the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh.
That's it.
So, what sort of flight was this?
It was a combat training mission. They were just going to skate around. This was right at the arse end of World War II. The war was pretty much over at this point. They were just going to do go out to sea, do a little combat training mission, and then fly back to base.
Is it one of the classic Bermuda Triangle cases?
Yeah, it's. I've unmuted you, Nikki. You're free to comment yourself.
It's just, that's why. because of the scratching.
What's going on with your mic?
Okay, I'm using a mic that's not my usual, and it's not going so well. So next time I'm going to make sure that I don't have this mic. But this headset's being an absolute douche. Yay, Dean! Sorry, I love Dean.
So was there absolutely no trace of them at all?
No trace has ever been found. No wreckage, no beacons, no nothing. They just vanished.
Whoa! I mean, and this isn't just one. This isn't just one vehicle, and that's the weirdest thing. You know,
this is 5 planes and a flying boat that went missing.
Yeah, I think at one point they were discussing maybe it's some kind of weird magnetic pool kind of situation. But I don't think they've ever figured out like what's going on with the Bermuda Triangle. Like I would love to go. Just, if I die, I die, but at least I found out. I'm one of those people. Thank you.
So yeah, pretty weird. There have been so many searches for this. It's unreal. It's one of the most famous things. Bermuda Triangle cases. In 1986, an Avenger airplane was found off Florida. It was found not while they were looking for Flight 19. They were actually looking for pieces of the Space Shuttle Challenger. It was raised from the ocean floor in 1990. It was believed to be one of the missing planes, but again, it turned out to be not. In 1991, that's when they discovered the other group of planes that was at the bottom of the ocean in the same general area. So weird.
I mean, is there any possibility that maybe there's some kind of military whatever that they flew over that was like, nah, no fly, and no one knew about it? Because this was like in the 50s, right?
It was in 1945.
45. So, I mean, that could very well be it. I mean, we were doing all sorts of stupid crap at that point with no consideration to anybody else. I could see a government at that point just being like, who's going to stop us and shoot down a plane?
So that's basically a cover-up explanation.
There'd be wreckage. The radar would ping. Someone would have seen something. SoFlo, what was the weather conditions like? The sea was rough, but the conditions for a plane were favourable.
Okay, well, I mean, we've got to sort of, if we're going to try and account for this, I mean, let's look at what our options are. I'm not ruling anything out. I mean, you're talking something, the possibility. I mean, do we entertain possibilities like alien involvement, supernatural, or something, or is it something that can be explained in remotely real, everyday scientific terminology? I mean, what do we think, people?
I think that there's probably a scientific, reason for it.
A sensible real-world explanation.
Yes. Something, like I said, like the military shooting down stuff, a magnetic issue causing problems with planes being able to navigate. Maybe the conditions are bad and they couldn't see. I don't know what's at the Bermuda Triangle. Could there have been something that they could have hit because they didn't know where they were as far as navigation goes? I just have a hard time thinking what else could it be? Some portal to another dimension? Possibly. I would entertain that maybe, but not before I exhausted all other possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, the Bermuda Triangle's a myth. There's no more accidents there than there are over any other large bodies of water in the world. But it seems odd that this entire World War II planes, at the arse end of World War II, people were monitoring planes and stuff at that time, and they just vanished without a trace. And subsequent planes, flew through that area, no problem. The only thing we've got to go on is that last radio transmission. He's very confused. The lead pilot seemed to be panicking a little bit, saying his compass was broken, and he incorrectly assumed they were flying over the Florida Keys.
I just found where it says that the most recent scientific theory on the triangle suggests that the freakish disappearance of ships and aircraft could be a result of large deposits of methane gas spewing up from the ocean floor. Huge eruptions of methane bubbles may push water away from a ship, causing it to sink. If the highly flammable methane then rises into the air, it could ignite an airplane's engine, causing it to explode and disappear.
That is probably bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, a plane is not going to be near enough to the surface of the water.
Very true.
I mean, it would dissipate very quickly once it touched.
Man. Yeah, that is that's a clutching at straws explanation.
Yeah, that's New York Times for you.
Like the boat thing, okay, a lot of bubbles all at once, unexpected, could happen, but the exploding planes.
Well, I mean, if it's in the 40s and they are close enough, I don't know.
I mean, if it's somehow, I mean, a massive pocket of methane could hypothetically ignite and blow up a ship. That you can imagine that happening, I guess.
It also says it could be white squalls, which is apparently just super bad, intense storms that come through, and it could be clear, and then 1 second later you've got like water spouts and crap. So that could be it too. I mean, if it has that kind of extreme weather and things are great and it's sunny and nice, and then suddenly you're caught up in a fucking tornado.
Yeah.
That could be it as well. Yeah, Gabby said swamp gas. That's always the answer to everything. Swamp gas.
Swamp gas. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with swamp gas as an explanation for stuff.
For anything, literally anything. There's a crazy monster on the run killing people. Swamp gas.
Bigfoot, swamp gas.
Swamp gas. Mm-hmm.
The Thanet Sea monster, swamp gas.
Swamp gas. Loch Ness.
What are the wisps that are actually swamp gas, though, igniting?
Somebody say something.
I don't want to. Let's just make it real awkward. Let's have an awkward silence. Just thinking about how much Kevin would be cringing right now. I said silence.
If he was here. Yeah. I hope he's okay. I always worry when he doesn't show up with any explanation.
Did he find his missing missus?
He did, yes.
Yeah.
His wife was fine.
I very much imagined so, or I would have been told.
I did too, but I would have been very much like him. I am immediately like, okay, you're late. And then, oh, you still haven't answered. You're dead in a ditch somewhere. I've literally had problems like that and called like local hospitals to see if the person I was looking for had checked in. I don't play. I would have done the same damn thing.
I mean, do you have to have some sort of insider's privilege and know exactly the right numbers to call for that?
No, it's called Google. You Google the hospital name.
Oh.
And you literally say, hey, do you have so-and-so, a person by the name of so-and-so in your, like, have you checked them in? And unless they're one of those people that are like, I'm super private, they're going to be listed.
Do you mean do you actually speak to a person who looks up the information, or do you just...
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's good of them to get back to you so quick.
No, like I literally call them and then they check while they're on the phone with me actively.
But that's the...
You just call the hospital and you press 1 or 0 to talk to a representative, and there you go.
I don't imagine it would work that smoothly in this country, do you, Richard?
No, you'd have to talk to like 10 different people with very
Every once
foreign
in a
accents.
while, I get tossed to another department, but for the most part, whoever picks up is able to look. It might just be a southern thing, I don't know, but I have done it on multiple occasions. And unless you say, hey, no, I don't want people to know I'm here, or unless you're part of like a violent crime, they will put you in there. But then again, like our hospital, our big one here is for the tri-state area. And I mean, you have to go through like 2 metal detectors to even get in the damn building. So,
It's
because
weird.
crime.
Yeah, crime always crimes.
Yep.
Criminals got a crim.
Yep. Got to do your criming. But yep, Memphis, so good. I saw a video of some guy in Memphis not too long ago, and he actually went to one of the potholes in one of our main streets and stood in it, and it was waist deep on him. He was like, this is in the middle of blah 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 street, and I was just like, yeah, that seems about right. Like, so when you hear me driving and I talk about a pothole that just stole my soul, it's stuff like that we got going on here.
Oh, there's some there's a road near me which is half sort of a state-owned road, a county-owned road, and half unadopted. I mean, they have these freak roads in England that are called unadopted roads, and I don't know why, but they don't fall under the jurisdiction of the local council. Instead, they fall under they're collectively owned by the residents. And there's a handful of roads. I can think of about 3 that I know of in this near to various places I've lived. And one of them was an absolute nightmare. I mean, how anything but a massive, great fuck off pickup truck goes down these things, I don't know. I mean, everyone must own at least a 4x4 in that road now to bloody survive getting out of their own front drives. I mean, these roads, they are not maintained at all. They are falling to pieces. They're just often. There's one near me here in Whitstable called Northwood Road, and a section of that is unadopted, and it's just gravel. I mean, it's better than the one that I know near where my parents lives, because that one doesn't have the benefit of being pure gravel. It's just it's a really old, falling apart, like retro tarmacy thing. It was concrete. In fact, it doesn't look like tarmac. It looks like it was once concrete. It looks like a bloody Roman ruin nowadays, this road. Honestly, it's called Old Fold View, and it's just down the road from where my parents live in Barnet, North London. I mean, I haven't, I must walk down there again, because I haven't seen it in ages, and it was terrible when I was growing up, and that was in 1988 or so. So yeah, that you have some roads that are just absolutely torrid. These unadopted
ours
roads.
are all roads, yeah. We're just known for it. Memphis is known for many, many things, and most of them are not good.
I don't know. Elvis wasn't half bad.
Yeah, we're known for Elvis and barbecue. Jerry Lawler, if you like wrestling.
A treasure. Jerry Lawler is a treasure.
Beale Street.
Jerry Lawler, or he was dubbed. Was he a WCW commentator, or was he once?
Yeah, he's done that. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
WCW.
Not WCW. He was a commentator for wrestling at one point. His son wrestled. Yeah, he's a big figure in Memphis. Everybody has a Jerry Lawler story for the most part. Yeah, I would say, I don't know. Maybe because he's around. We just, yeah, everybody loves Jerry Lawler. I think that Memphians have more respect for Jerry Lawler and the stuff that he's done than the King. Because if you ask us how Graceland is, we're like, we don't fucking know. We don't care. Who cares about Elvis? Not Memphians.
Well, come on. He's overrated anyway. He wasn't that good.
I am not a huge Elvis fan, and so I fit into Memphis very well, even though I am from here, but I'm not from here. Um, but yeah, I'm not a huge Elvis fan, and I've noticed that people that are from Memphis, I don't care about him either, but a lot of them do love them some Jerry Lawler.
I'll tell you what though about Elvis. The recent film was really good.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard really good things about it.
I bought it for Hannah for Christmas, and it was we really enjoyed it. What I found interesting though, and I'm not quite sure why this happened, I'd watched the trailer multiple times because there was a scene in the trailer that was one of his first performances, and it was pretty compelling. From Austin Butler, it's just a really, really gripping performance. It's great, and there's this scene of his first gig. They did a different edit of it in the trailer to when it appeared in the film, because I was really looking forward to seeing that bit in context, and there were significant differences in the scene in the trailer and the scene in the actual film, and I found that very curious. I'm not sure I've ever seen that happen before. Not quite sure why that happened either. Well, it must have been they did the trailer while they were still doing the final edits, and they just ended up choosing something slightly different.
Oh, they always do trailers different than the actual film.
Yeah?
Yeah, always. There's scenes in trailers that are never in the actual film.
Oh, blimey. Can you think of any examples? Not to put you on the spot, just because I find that interesting.
Pretty much every single Marvel movie trailer, there's been stuff in the trailer that wasn't in the film. The original Men in Black trailer had scenes that wasn't in the film. That's all I can think of now.
I think there's probably been Star Wars ones that have used clips from other films and things like that. At least I think so. I'm not certain. In some of the teaser trailers, the earliest ones maybe, but we sort of pinched ones from earlier films and mixed them in. Possibly, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not even sure.
I'm just saying, trailers are often different than the film.
Has anyone seen any good films recently? Anyone been thoroughly gripped and mesmerized by the celluloid magic before their eyes?
As far as films, no, but we've been watching Last of Us, and it's been really great.
Oh, I've heard people who have told me they've been absolutely gripped by that film.
It's so good. One more
seriously.
episode. I'm going to be so sad. I don't want it to end.
Well, I mean, how many is it? Does it lend itself to any further seasons?
I have no idea. I haven't seen the last episode, but there is a Last of Us 2. I don't even know if they're going to try.
They don't make the second game into a TV show.
Why?
That game is awful.
Well, I mean, maybe they'll make it better because they've done a really good job with this. I mean, I think it's the best conversion from video game to cinema that I've ever seen, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'll second that. It has been amazing how well they've translated the game and improved upon it to...
and in a respectful light.
Yeah.
Like, respectful to the game, yeah.
What sort of... what's the game like?
What's the game like?
I've never played it. Is it not that good then?
The first game was legendary.
Yeah, I mean, it's beloved amongst a lot of gamers. I haven't played it, but I've watched it played.
Right.
The Last of Us 1 was, a generation-defining game. It's one of those games that everyone played, like Mario, like...
Well, GoldenEye, Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, exactly. It's up there with those. It's very well known. I was, completely against it when they said they were making a TV show. I was like, oh, that's going to be shit. There's no way they're going to do it. But they've done a really good job of it. But I just hope they don't do the second game. Or if they do, they change the second game, because the second game is so terrible.
Oh, is it really? Did they fail?
I can't without spoiling it, but yeah, they did. They failed miserably.
Okay. Is that in terms of sort of the plot? the dramatic plot, or just
Yeah,
literally
the
gameplay?
plot was awful, and it didn't make any sense. And the first game is all about loss and grieving and love and moving on, and they do it so effortlessly well. And the second game, it didn't have a point. They're just like, well, maybe it's about loss, maybe it's about, how revenge just chews you up and spits you out. But really, there's no moral here. So just play through it.
Okay.
I can't tell you how much I hate the second game, and I can't go into it without ruining it. So
yeah,
I get the
no
idea.
spoilers.
Wow, it's I can think of I don't know if I've played a game that has had a story and a narrative that has actually been that gripping, but that's probably a timescale thing, because I'm so out of touch and out of date with gaming. I haven't been up to date.
I was about to say you haven't played new games, because I can tell you I have played at least 3 or 4 games that have made me cry, like seriously cry, just really affected me emotionally.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
whole
some of
experience.
them are really good. Yeah, there's like an entire experience in gaming now where it's like you get super invested in the storyline.
Wow.
And in the
No, I don't
characters, and
think
yeah.
I can't think of a game that I think the closest it's come is something like Zelda Ocarina of Time, and that's still very cutesy. But I
Yeah.
can't. No, I mean, stuff like Metroid Prime, you're not like deeply connected with Samus. It's just not that sort of game. So I mean that might have been a forerunner to this kind of thing. Metroid Prime is one of the best games I've ever played. It was on the Nintendo GameCube.
Yeah.
What that did was set a whole new level in terms of immersion. I think. I mean, that maybe together, that with Metal Gear Solid, those two third-person games were, you really felt like, oh no, one was first, one was third, but you really felt like you were part of something big, and you felt like you were really joining something, a complete package of a world and an
Yeah.
atmosphere.
I have some older games that I feel that way about, that are like MS-DOS games.
Oh yeah.
I do. That just like, there's one called Quantum Gate that really got me. The ending just crushed me. Basically, you're a military person. You've signed up to fight these bugs. Blah blah blah. You've got your little VR helmet whenever you're out in the war fighting. And I know that it's a trope now, but back in the 90s, it wasn't. Essentially, you're not allowed to take off your VR helmet. He ends up taking his off, and he finds out that they're not these giant bugs that they're killing, like these giant alien bug things. It's actually people. They've been going in and killing people, but their VR headsets were changing those people to look like something else.
That was an episode of Black Mirror.
It was an episode of Black Mirror, but back in the 90s, it was an actual video game called Quantum Gate, and it was kind of a choose your own adventure, which I really like. I like being able to go through, I like getting involved in it and kind of playing a movie, you know. So it's kind of one of those where you're in there. Back when MS-DOS was just playing with actual recording video and putting it in. So everybody was like real people, real actors. You walk up, you do your dialogue, you choose your stuff. And there were a bunch of different endings. But yeah, at the end, you find out that you've been killing innocent people. And it really affected me. I think I was like 12. And it just, I've been affected by video games a lot. Like, there's just a lot out there that will move you. There's some really creative people. I think video games are overlooked a lot for like movies or whatever. People think it's acceptable to watch movies, but as an adult, you're not supposed to play video games. When I think that there are a lot of video games that have a deeper meaning and are more immersive than a movie, because it gets you involved in the storytelling. Kind of like Richard's gonna talk shit, but I loved Detroit Become Human because it really kind of put this thought process in your head of what happens when AI becomes sentient, what kind of rights do they have, blah blah blah, and it kind of makes you think while you're playing the game. Anyway, that's my spiel. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, Detroit being human really did make you think.
That's all you got.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to shit on it. It did make you think.
Thank you.
I think one of the mentioning that sort of story, I'm trying to remember the name of the Black Mirror episode that follows the same sort of the same premise.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, I knew exactly what was going on, and so did
Yeah, I can't remember what episode it was. It was I really can't. It was, but I've got a one of the greatest. We over here we have things called charity shops, and I think you have something similar called thrift shops.
Yeah.
I don't know how similar they are, but one of my greatest thrift shop wins was here it is. It's called Men Against Fire. Yeah, I've got it now. I'm 99% sure this is it, Men Against Fire. And I found this guide to Black Mirror, this hardback book, quite big, for $2.99. It's still got the price on the back. How about that? And this is just an absolute Bible for Black Mirror. Covers the first 4 seasons. Maybe not quite the 5th, but it covers not the 5th, but it covers the first 4 seasons. I find this. You a fan of Black Mirror, Nikki, Richard?
I've watched every single episode and both movies they've put out, and I am a huge fan.
Even like the Miley Cyrus episode.
I really did.
The Miley Cyrus one.
Yeah, I actually like that one. That was pretty good.
I like that one too. That was the one with
Miley Cyrus,
marvelously reworked Head Like a Hole.
Yes.
That was I'm gonna get what I deserve. Yeah. It was really cleverly done how they'd taken quite a sinister song, Head Like a Hole by Nine Inch Nails, first album, Pretty Hate Machine, 1990, I think it was, maybe 91. I used to have that on vinyl, and it was clever, so clever how they turned that song into something really twee and really feeble, and benign. They turned it into something really, really benign and bland, which was also exactly what they were doing to the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Richard, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I get it.
That's what, with sedating this character, that's exactly what they've done to her. So I thought that was a particularly sharp and astute choice of song to cannibalize. And it's also, it's really, when in a series that's known for technology being really, really bad and negative, it was actually it was all the more refreshing to see this robot be badass and be totally on her side and just go and kick ass. It was really cool to watch. It was like Tarantino or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
But if you want to know what I'm talking about, guys, you want to watch on Netflix, Black Mirror, Series 5, Episode 1. I can't remember the name, but it's definitely Series 5, Episode 1.
But in terms of Black Mirror episodes, though, you're never going to beat 50 Million Merits. That is easily the best episode of Black Mirror, and I will die on that hill.
Well, yeah, get on that cross, bud, because it's a pile of pants compared to some of the other episodes.
Man,
what's better?
My favorite episode is go ahead. I'll tell you. Hold on. Go ahead, Tom.
Okay. There's a lot that I really like. I really liked the episode that followed it, The Entire History of You. I think Jodie Whittaker's performance in that was magnificent.
That episode bored the arse off me. I'm not going to lie.
You've got no taste and no style then, you cretin.
No, Jodie Whittaker just can't act. All right.
She can. In Doctor Who, they never gave her the material that she was capable of, showing her at her best, which they do in the entire history of You. I think that's a great premise, a great episode. I found it compelling. I mean, each to their own, Richard. Fair enough. It worked for me. And the other one I'd like to give a real nod to is Nosedive. I think that
Nosedive was surprisingly awesome.
That was really good.
I went into that one just thinking, oh, this one's going to be another one of the dud episodes, but that was really good, especially at the end when they're just insulting each other for the fun of it.
And they just give up. Up. It's I mean, if ever Black Mirror was prophetic, it was with that episode.
100%.
In China, it really is getting like that.
100%. Yeah, they also will display people's faces if they owe money and stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the long arm of the state really isn't using social media to exert a terrible level of control. I mean, I'm not quite sure how it works, but there really are like social. There really is. I'd need to find out more. But hey, we're ill informed. I can talk crap when I only know half the picture, right, Richard?
Yeah, I mean that's our IP. So yeah.
Okay, I'll bring it on. As far as I know, they've got some sort of system of social credits where little misdemeanors can count against you for a very long time. And Big Brother is most definitely watching you more than ever in China right now, exactly as predicted in Nosedive. I thought it was a great episode. I mean, basically, I can sum this up a lot better than some of the other stuff I've dribbled on about tonight. Nosedive, basically, it's social media times 10. How popular you are on Facebook, how many followers. Well, they don't name it, but it's Facebook and Instagram and all of those things. How popular you are and how many followers you've got and how prestigious your followers are, and the strength of your online presence genuinely affects your day-to-day experience of the world. The amount of the jobs you can apply for, the houses you can buy, where you're allowed to drive to, where you can go, whether you can stay at a hotel or not, all depends on your social credits. And anytime someone interacts with you, they get to give you a rating of the interaction, and you're forced to be as positive as possible. And one bad thing leads to another for this woman, and she gets in a negative spiral. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong for this woman in life, and everything, and it's all reflected totally in social media. And she just ends up very quickly on this unstoppable downward spiral of social media negatives and real world. Like as she gets short and loses her temper with a few people who can't help her repair her car to get to a wedding, and as soon as her social media status plummets, she's the person from the wedding
tells her not to come.
Yeah, tells her not to come. And then she says, I only came for you because you would positively impact my social credit rating, my social status. And in the end, she just goes.
Then she crashes the wedding anyway.
It's crashes the wedding. Just gives up trying to play the game and calls everyone up for the superficial, shallow gits that they are. It is brilliant. Series 3, Episode 1, Nosedive.
All right, Nikki, what about you?
Both of mine are from season 3. They're very different than y'all, and very different in nature. My favorite, all-time favorite, as far as giving me the creeps or whatever, Playtest. I will fucking watch Playtest a million damn times. I love Playtest, where he's a video game. He's like traveling through the UK and he's just kind of backpacking and looking for random odd ass jobs, and he found one to be a playtester for a video game. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, doesn't the end? I mean, I'd be doing a major spoiler if I talked about the ending, wouldn't I?
Yeah. So Richard already did it, but it's so great. I love that. It's such a great mind fuck. And
I've only watched it once.
It's my favorite. It's like my favorite, and my close second is San Junipero for a different reason. I found it very sentimental and sweet.
I love that episode.
That is the music is great.
The music's great. Sweet. The story's great.
Yes,
absolutely. It almost made my black heart beat.
I know it's such a sweet. Like, people that aren't into that, I usually tell them, if you're not into that kind of thing, still watch San Junipero, because It doesn't even feel like a Black Mirror episode to me at all. It's got too much heart to be a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah,
basically, yeah, it's like upload. Basically, when you die, you upload your consciousness into a computer program, and it's a love story. It's really great. Just watch it.
It's very nice. Honorable mentions, of course, go to USS Callister.
I was gonna say that next. Absolutely. Season 4, episode 1. Yep.
Definitely.
That's a great episode, and Just Shut Up and Dance is another one of my personal.
Well, that's horrible.
That one is so hard to watch, but it's good. It's good.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant when you've watched it once and you know he's got it coming.
Yeah, it's so savage, man. It's so savage.
Oh, it is.
The first time you watch it and your heart goes out to the kid and you're like, oh, come on, it's not that bad. So they got a picture of you jerking off. And then, the truth comes out and you're like, oh, well, you totally had that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nasty, but that's not a fun
dance. I also like the dating app one as well. That one's
that was good. That was pretty good. Where they have to swap partners or whatever after a certain amount of time.
And then it turns out it's all a simulation. It's just so good.
So many good ones. Anyway, there are 5 seasons.
Very few. There's like only 2 episodes I can't watch again because I just think they're stupid. Crocodile. I hate Crocodile. I think it's so lame.
What happened? What one is that?
It's the black and white one with the killer dogs. I had to force myself through that one. I was just like, this is just dumb.
I didn't find it dull. I just found it tragic and horrible.
I was just like, Black Mirror is usually a lot more subtle than this. This is too on the nose for me. And I think the one with the very first episode of Black Mirror, I just like...
Yeah, with the election. I was very lucky that when I watched it, something happened with my Netflix and I started on season 3 and it just went backwards. It was weird and it made it so, my very first episode I saw was Nosedive.
Very first episode I watched was USS Callister, and then I was like, well, I've got to watch the rest now.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when we watched Death to 2020? It took me ages to figure out that woman was from Black Mirror.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've had 2 episodes mixed up. Crocodile is a nasty one and a really sad one. It's a bit like Macbeth. Just the one I thought you were talking about was Metalhead with the robotic dogs. That's equally grim and nasty.
Yeah.
Which one's Crocodile then?
Crocodile is the one where it's somebody is trying to cover up their murder.
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
Using murder to cover up murder, and it just.
I wasn't a fan of season 5, pretty much at all. Striking Vipers was, I don't know.
The one where they have, no spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was funny. Okay. And Crocodile, the one with the woman covering up the murder has the hilarious thing of the guinea pig at the end. So that's a redeeming quality. Metalhead, yeah, that's the one I don't like.
Yeah, that with those dogs, and at the end they were only after bloody teddy bears.
And good news, there will be a season 6.
Ooh. Okay. Should we call it?
Yeah.
It's been over an hour.
I've been trying to for the last 10 minutes, but yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it would have been if it was Kevin.
See, I like the Miley Cyrus one, I suppose, NG. I thought that was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I did too.
And if she'd just done that in the first place instead of cutting her hair and acting really slutty, I'd pretty much have more respect for her now. But, but I digress. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many, where we will discuss the zany tale of John Darwin.
Oh, yeah. Fabulous.
A British national. All right, so laters, everyone. Good night.
Night, everybody.
Bye.